So, welcome everyone, and welcome back. Last week, as you may recall, we worked on releasing emotional residue, the stress, heaviness, unresolved energy that we've been carrying from the past year. Now, today, we'll be diving deeper and exploring the stories and self concept patterns that maybe once helped us cope, belong, survive, but that may no longer fit or align to our true self. Awareness is the first step. So we can use this iceberg as a metaphor and as a visual analogy, where if up above the surface are our habitual behaviors, the actions we take, the thoughts we repeatedly think, that we can see what is underlying that, what is holding all of that up is our self concept. Trying to make changes on the surface is very hard and often very short lived when we don't address what is the underlying identity and self concept. So, to give us an understanding, what is the self concept? We can think of this as the eternal story of who you believe you are. Your self concept is the internal story of who you believe you are. It includes beliefs about your personality, your abilities and limitations, your role in relationships, as well as what you expect from life. Most of this story operates below conscious awareness, much like an algorithm. A computer is programmed with an algorithm, and so we don't really see the background algorithm, we just see what it spits out. Just like that, we may see our repetitive behaviors, repetitive thoughts, but the algorithm beneath it and running in the background is our self concept. So we're not behaving in certain ways just randomly. We behave in ways that align with who we believe we are. We discussed last week how the body is a camera, a very sophisticated camera, with all of our five senses constantly on, perceiving our environment and ourself, and then storing those pictures in our mind, much like a camera stores images on a film. Now, a few key differences. First, the camera here, you have to press a button in order to make it record. For us, our body is doing it automatically, whether we want it to or not. Not only that, the camera, of course, just records what's right out in front of it and stores that image on the film. Our body, as a camera, comes programmed with a selfie function. So we record not just our surroundings, but we record ourselves, our body, simultaneously. So we not only record all of our surroundings, what we see and hear, but we also record the body, much like a selfie, and the internal feelings and sensations. This camera, our body, has been on 24/7 since the day we were born, perceiving and imprinting these pictures. So then, how is our identity formed? Oftentimes, the identity or self-concept we come to have begins as sort of an adaptation to early experiences in our life, emotional conditioning, maybe certain behaviors are positively reinforced, so we learn, this is good. Certain ones are negatively reinforced, we learn that's bad. And certain family and social roles that we sort of take on through life. For instance, the caretaker, the fun one, the achiever, the one who has it all together, these kinds of things. Somewhere along the way, our mind learns that this is who I need to be in order to feel safe, loved, accepted. In this way, our identity is not so much a flaw per se, but it began perhaps as a survival strategy. Even when we want to make positive changes in our life, it can actually be very difficult to do so when we're sort of locked in to a particular self concept. For instance, many people who are high achievers, maybe they want to sit down and meditate, they want to relax, but it goes so against the self concept that it's very hard even to just unwind and, stop and smell the roses, so to speak. So the self concept can be very limiting. How the self concept sort of drives our behavior. This is the reason why when we make New Year's resolutions, it's the end of the year, it's December, changing our habits just on the surface is very, very difficult because, again, when we have this sort of fixed self concept, the brain likes familiarity. It seeks familiarity, not necessarily happiness, not necessarily what's best for us objectively, but just what it's used to. So, however we've been in the past, however we've gotten by in the past, the brain will kind of keep wanting to go down that route. By that same token, as we repeat thoughts, behaviors, interpersonal dynamics over time, the neural pathways in our brain strengthen. So it becomes easier to repeat those things and harder to change, though not impossible. Moreover, the identity we have also becomes a filter for what we notice, what we recognize, then how we respond, and what habits feel natural to us. Kind of a simple example from my own life. Every year on New Year's Eve, I'd be like, okay, this year I'm going to be one of those people who wakes up early to exercise. But of course, come January 2nd, January 3rd, what would I be doing? Snoozing once again, sleeping in. Why is that? Because despite my best intention, and despite even that desire, sleeping in what was familiar to my brain and body, and my self-concept was as a night owl, like I'm a night person. I'm not a morning person. When I really took a look at this, why can't I just decide I want to wake up early and I want to go exercise in the morning? If I want to do that, I should be able to just do that. But at a certain point, really, it wasn't me in control. It was my habits and my self-identity, my self-concept that was actually in control. So from within that, there's really no freedom, actually. So as we've learned, as we've been discussing with this body that's been always recording ourselves, we have so many pictures from our past built up of how we've been, how we've responded to things, how we've acted at certain times in certain places. So all of these pictures we have kind of contain the repetitive thoughts, emotions, and reactions we've had. They are essentially copies, like stored memories of our habitual behaviors, including our coping mechanisms. What are the things we do to handle when life gets stressful or when our mind becomes difficult? These pictures also include all kinds of unhelpful narratives like, I'm bad at this, or I'm always that. So, what is meditation? Why must we meditate? Meditation is cleansing and emptying the mind of these pictures. In so doing, we can start to loosen the grip of the negative thoughts and limitations that those pictures represent. And this is true freedom. So this is going to bring us to some time to journal and reflect on this topic. If this is resonating at all, I'd love to see a thumbs up if you're kind of ready to do some of this work. Is it making sense? Resonating? Monica, thank you. I'll hand it over to Dr. Yu to add on anything further that you might like to, and also set us up for our journaling time today.
Sure. Journaling is always a wonderful exercise to do. And I have said this last week too. It's a really good idea to try to do this daily. Some people like to do it at nighttime because it kind of organize their thoughts before they go to sleep. Some people are morning people. They prefer to do it in the morning, the first thing they when they get up. Whenever you do, try to do this at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes per day. It doesn't take too long. It really has to do with just looking inward and just jotting down some ideas or thoughts, emotions that pop up. So, as Pam has put here on the slide, I don't know if you're able to see this. Okay, so first question is without judgment or a need to fix, is there any repetitive thought or behavior that I know does not serve me? And then the second question is, how has this thought or behavior possibly served me at some point, either to cope with difficult emotions or to provide a sense of belonging or safety with others? And third question to ponder would be, what roles have I played in family, work, and social life? And how does that shape my self-concept? What aspects can I consider as gifts or strengths? And are there any aspects that I can begin to release as no longer they're needed?
Thank
Okay, so we're gonna have a little
you.
bit of calming music. We'll start to jot down some ideas as it flows out.
Great. Yes, we'll take about 7 or 8 minutes. So you'll have some time with each question. take another 2 minutes. Yay. I hope this brought some things to the surface. This is what we'll actually be able to release and let go of in our meditation today. If you feel comfortable and if you'd like to, in the chat, you are welcome to share what is one role or identity that you're ready to loosen today or shed. Almost like a snake. As a snake is growing, what does it do? It has to shed a layer of skin so that it can continue to grow and thrive. Just like that, there could be some identities that are just a little too tight now that you're ready to outgrow and shed. It's not a bad thing, it's actually a very healthy thing. So if anyone's brave and would like to put it in the chat, thank you. Codependency, procrastinator, anger, sensitivity. I bet as we relieve, caretaker, as we we'll all be able to relate with one another. Perfectionism, yes. Lack of confidence, right. Thank you for sharing, and know that what we simply have are pictures in our mind that represent that tendency or that pattern. So even if you can find one like representative set of pictures, know that as you throw away those pictures with the meditation here, that identity will start to loosen. The pictures will disappear and the associated emotions will also start to reduce. And together, little by little, we feel lighter, clearer, and more free in our mind.